Getting the team engaged is a very critical thing in succeeding in business, and Japan makes it especially the case. Hello, my name is Greg Story. I'm the president of Carnegie Training, and I'm the best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery. We're shooting from the High Performance Center here in Akasaka, Minato-ku, the business center of Japan, and we're continuing our series on doing business in Japan. Now, I've spoken previously about recruiting people and the importance of retaining people. I want to talk a little bit more about that retain part, how to engage people so that they stay with your company and they do a very good job while they're with you. Now, retaining people and engaging people are very closely related, obviously. Now, how do we retain and engage people? We did some global research, which is also duplicated here in Japan, same results. There are three factors that are really critical in getting people engaged, and one particular trigger point that we have to pay very careful attention to. The belief in your supervisor, actually having a good relationship with your supervisor, your direct report, is a very critical thing. We often hear people say, staff don't leave companies, they leave bosses. It's actually quite true. So what sort of boss are you, and what's your relationship with your people? Now, if you started up in Japan, you may be a small, medium enterprise, you've got to really work to get the people to come into the team, and they've come into the team. How do you keep them there? How do you get them engaged? How you relate to them is very important. Now, you might be very, very smart around a particular specialty area, whatever it might be, to do with your product or service. That's your sort of IQ part. Your EQ, your emotional quotient part, is going to be more important, actually, when you're dealing with the staff. Because they don't care how smart you are, they care about how much you care about them and how you actually show that. Now, you might think, oh, well, that's pretty obvious. Yes, of course, I'm going to be a caring boss. Are you? What about time? What about time pressure? What about all the pressures of running a business in Japan? There's going to be a lot of things really impacting on you, and you may start to forget about that thanking staff, encouraging them, coaching them, giving them positive feedback, helping them to, good, better feedback. That was good. Tell them exactly what was good, how we can do it better. So it's that nice balance. It's no critique, right? Make it all positive going forward. You may forget about that because you're time pressed, you're pressure pressed, and you're stress pressed. And so those niceties tend to drop away. So that's one thing we've got to keep in mind. It sounds simple. Oh yeah, have a good relationship with your immediate boss. Hey, when the money's not coming in, or the time deadlines are hitting, or you've got a lot of woes and troubles, you may be showing that as well. You may be unable to mask all those pressures, and then people start to worry, is this going to be okay? Is this company going to survive? Boss looks like he's really worried. Maybe there's something I should be worried about. We've got to be great poker players here. We've got to have a poker face. No matter what's going on out there or inside the company, we don't show it to anybody. We've got to always be upbeat, positive, very, very conscientious to make that impression that everything's fine, I'm in charge, it's okay. The second thing is the belief in the direction senior management's taking the company. You might be running the company by yourself, you might have a group, a management team, might be a board involved. They, at the bottom, need to know that the people at the top actually know what they're doing. Now, as I say, when you're a small, medium company in Japan, and you may not have a long history in Japan, not a lot of track record, you're trying to bridge into markets, how do you know what you're doing? How do you really know what you're doing? How well do you really know Japan? Well, you've got to really purvey that sense of we know what we're doing to the team. That's really through communication. Now, you know what you're doing. That's terrific. But do they know what you're doing? And often we forget to tell them. And often the middle management don't tell them either. So the people at the bottom are running around with no clear idea on the direction or the vision or the mission of the company because no one's really explained it to them or kept explaining it to them. And this is very important. You can't tell this to people once and think they've got it. You've got to keep going with it over and over and over continuously. Never stop on that. So you might get it at the boardroom level, but they probably don't get it down in the trenches. So your middle management may not be passing it down. They're like sponges. They take everything from above, but they don't pass it on. So you've got to make sure that your middle management is really reinforcing the direction, the vision of the company. You've got to be talking directly to people. Keep reminding them. Don't think you tell them the vision once they've got it. You've got to keep going with that. Got to keep going back and saying, what is the why of this company? Why are we here? Why are we special? Why are we going to be successful? All those things have got to be communicated. The other thing is pride in the company. Now, when you're working for a massive big company, it's got a global reach, thousands of employees, it's easy to feel proud. I belong to this big organization. When you're in a small, medium organization, there's 15 people, 20 people, 50 people, it doesn't have the same impact. So we've got to build the pride. We've got to make the competitors the enemy. We've got to make the outside people the enemy, and everyone inside the castle, they're an ally, a friend, a colleague. Whereas sometimes we get into some silos, with this silo fighting with that silo, internecine warfare within the company, powerful egos fighting within the company. We don't want that. Avoid that, right? Deal with that. Don't have that. Instead, make the enemy outside. I had a case with a company recently. They were talking about one of their competitors now becoming quite strong, and they haven't had to worry about them until now. Now they do. Perfect opportunity to use that competitor as the enemy to galvanize everyone, to get everyone together and face that enemy and really bond strongly. So always look for the bad guy outside the company, your competitor, the market, whatever it might be, and get people to focus on fighting that and build that pride. Have those offsites, have those events, go out to dinner, all those things that build the companionship and the pride in that organization. Now, the trigger point to engagement we found was feeling valued. Do the staff feel valued? Everyone's got their role, everyone's got their little job, but do they feel that their job is valuable? Do they feel that what they're doing is valuable? Do they feel that they are valued by the organisation? Now you say, oh, look, of course they feel valued. Yeah? Did you tell them? How did you tell them? How often did you tell them? When we look at it again, as I said before, when you're time poor, we tend to truncate everything, and it becomes a series of giving orders. You're busy, let's do this, let's do that, okay, move on, next meeting, boom, boom, meeting, order, meeting, order. Where is the feeling valued part? Where is the coaching? Where is the development of the team inside that construct? It's not there. So we forget to tell people that they're valuable. We forget to tell people the job they're doing is really important for this company. And often, a lot of jobs are not that exciting. They can be very laborious jobs. They can be very sort of administrative type of jobs that, people don't even notice you're even there. Somehow the paperwork gets moved around, but no one really knows who did it. If you want people to feel engaged, you've got to tell them that what they're doing is valuable. You've got to tell them that they are valued. They are an important person in this company. You appreciate what they're doing. And you've got to communicate that. And as I say, oh, yeah, I know that. But are you doing it? When was the last time you did it? How often are you doing it? Have a little bit of a self-audit there. You'll be shocked when you actually look at what you're doing. You find most of the time you're either in meetings with clients or shooting out orders to the team. And your valued part has gone missing in action. So let's get the good relationship going with the staff, good communication there. Make sure everyone understands what the vision is, what the direction is, so they feel they're really, senior management know what they're doing. Build that pride in the organisation and tell people that they are valued. And if you do that, you will have a very engaged team here in Japan.